Look at these growth charts. Since the reforms in the 90s, the world is finally seeing us as the titan we are. The economy is moving at light speed, sir. We need a stage that matches the trajectory. India won the bid for the 2010 Commonwealth Games with a clear objective. This was the moment to demonstrate to the global community that the nation had transitioned into a modern, rising power. To ready New Delhi for the spotlight, the city required a total structural overhaul. It meant building state-of-the-art stadiums, an entire athletes' village, and a modernized transport network simultaneously. The event was intended to function as a massive, high-stakes advertisement. Every camera angle and every smooth commute was meant to signal that India had arrived as a major player on the international stage. Aid. Sir, the initial projection for the stadiums is under $500 million. This chart shows the original estimate. Chairman. Don't be a dingleberry. We'll skip quality checks, use cheap materials, and move the difference into our accounts. Make the new budget $10 billion. Investigations later revealed the mechanism of this budget surge. Officials were renting common gym equipment, like this treadmill, for $10,000 each, while simple rolls of toilet paper were billed at prices fit for royalty. Chairman, there's nothing left. We've drained the accounts so thoroughly that we can't afford the actual steel for the stadiums. By treating the budget as a private treasury rather than a construction fund, the committee ensured that their high-profile project would eventually collide with reality. With only weeks left before the opening ceremony, international delegates arrived to inspect the promised facilities. They didn't find the world-class resort they were promised. Sweating. Welcome. Please watch your step around the rubble. And if you see paw prints on the beds, they're just rustic motifs. My bathroom doesn't have plumbing, and there is a cobra currently guarding my toilet. That is our exotic experience package. It's intentional. The chaos wasn't limited to the apartments. Stagnant water at the unfinished sites had turned the venues into a breeding ground for mosquitoes, triggering a massive dengue fever outbreak across the city. The committee wanted to broadcast an image of a flawless, high-tech hub. Instead, the global press was treated to a daily catalogue of safety hazards and uninhabitable conditions. The failures soon turned from hygienic to structural. Reports began coming in of ceilings caving in at the newly built weightlifting arena. Then, days before the start, a new suspension bridge intended to carry thousands of spectators to the main stadium simply snapped, injuring dozens. With athletes threatening to boycott the event, India's reputation was on the verge of a total meltdown in the eyes of the international community. The central government finally intervened. They stripped the organizing committee of power and sent in the military to lead the cleanup. Army General. Forget the original blueprints. We are doing Jugaad now. Jugaad is a Hindi concept for an improvised, last-minute fix, a way to make things work through sheer resourcefulness when everything else fails. Aid. Sir, we have another crisis. Local monkeys are swarming the venues and stealing the athletes' food. To counter the infestation, the city council deployed larger, trained langur monkeys to act as security guards, keeping the smaller macaques away. When the systems of planning and financial oversight fail this completely, the only remaining option is this kind of desperate, brute force improvisation. On October 3rd, the lights went up. After months of delays, the government was about to find out if their last-minute repairs would hold. Surprisingly, the improvised fixes worked. The stadiums held together, the monkey guards did their jobs, and the events proceeded without further collapse. In the middle of the stadium, the conversation finally turned to sport. India had its most successful games in history, winning over 100 medals. The 2010 Games ended as a study in contrasts, a triumph on the track that emerged from a landscape of deep systemic failure. But the celebration didn't last. Once the athletes left, the focus returned to the missing billions and the crumbling walls. The government moved quickly to crack down on the organizing committee, looking for answers to how a $500 million project grew 20 times its size. The chairman and several of his associates were arrested. They were sentenced to prison for forgery, conspiracy, and the massive plunder of public funds.
ID. We pulled her off, General.
Only because we had an army to clean up the mess. You can't run a country on Jugaad forever. Ambition is essential for growth, and improvisation can save a project in a crisis. But the 2010 Games showed that for a nation to truly stand on the world stage, it must actually finish building its bridges before it invites the world to walk across them.